What if I told you MyFitnessPal is basically the toxic X of the wellness world? It promises to help you get your life together, but really it just makes you obsessed, neurotic, and questioning everything you put in your mouth. Today, we're exposing the biggest food tracking myths that are keeping you in an abusive relationship with math. Hey everyone, I'm Mindy, a nurse and an aspiring health coach. And if you've ever felt like you needed a PhD in nutrition just to eat a sandwich without guilt, this video is for you. We've been sold more lies about food tracking than a politician during election season.
Freaking politicians.
But what if the real problem isn't your willpower? It's that we're treating our bodies like they're as unreliable as Internet Explorer in 2024. Let's start with the biggest myth that food tracking gives you precision and control. These apps are more specific than a Virgo planning their vacation, me, and telling you that you need exactly 1,847 calories today. Not 1,850, not 1,800, exactly 1,847. It's giving very much trust me, bro energy, but make it mathematical. Well, here's what they don't tell you: your body doesn't reset like a computer at midnight. It's not Windows 95, remember? Some days you need more fuel because you're stressed about your boss being, well, your boss. Other days you need less because you actually got 8 hours of sleep for once in your adult life. Your metabolism isn't solving for X in algebra class. It's more like a jazz musician, improvising, adapting, responding to what's happening in the moment. Yet we've been convinced that some algorithm created by a tech bro in Silicon Valley knows better than the biological masterpiece that literally grew you from a single cell. It's like having Siri tell you how to feel emotions. Hey Siri, should I be sad about this breakup?
Based on your relationship duration and social media activity, you should cry exactly 3.7 days.
Yeah, right. The second biggest lie is that tracking keeps you accountable. But accountable to what exactly? To hitting numbers that were calculated by a formula that has less personality than a customer service chatbot? This is like being in a relationship where your partner constantly asks, "What did you eat today? How many calories was that? Did you log everything?" Red flag behavior, my friends. Red flag behavior. Real accountability looks like honoring your hunger when it shows up, not ghosting it because an app said you've hit your limit for the day. It's eating when your body asks for fuel and stopping when you're satisfied, not when your phone buzzes to tell you you've reached your goal. Your brain is literally the Beyonce of biological systems, flawless, coordinated, and running the whole show. It's constantly monitoring your blood sugar like a helicopter parent, tracking your nutrient stores better than Amazon tracks your packages, and sending you signals through appetite and cravings that are more reliable than your Wi Fi connection. But when we're busy playing food detective with our apps, we're basically telling Queen Bee to sit down while we let some random app be the boss. The audacity. Now let's talk about fear mongering. If you don't track, you'll definitely overeat and become the person who finishes the entire sleeve of cookies while watching Netflix. Well, first of all, we've all been that person. Tracking or not, it's called being human, not moral failing. But the myth assumes you're basically a toddler who can't be trusted around food. And maybe some of you are. Either way, it's just the nutritional equivalent of helicopter parenting yourself. I can't trust myself to know when I'm hungry or full, so I need this app to be my babysitter. Yeah, right. Meanwhile, your body has more sophisticated hunger and fullness cues than a Tesla has safety features. You were literally born knowing how much to eat. Babies don't track macros, yet somehow they manage to grow at exactly the right rate without having an existential crisis about whether they've had enough protein. The only reason you might feel like you can't trust yourself around food is because you've been in diet jail so long, you've forgotten what food freedom looks like. It's like being told you can't drive for 10 years and then wondering why you're nervous behind the wheel. Here's the plot twist that M. Night Shyamalan wishes he'd written. The more you try to control your food intake through tracking, the more out of control you feel. It's the classic toxic relationship dynamic. You start out thinking, this time will be different. You're hitting your numbers, you're feeling like you got your life together, probably posting your meal prep ideas on Instagram like you're a Martha Stewart protege. Then life happens. You go to a birthday party, you eat a piece of cake, suddenly you're over your calories for the day, and what happens next? Your brain goes into full dramatic villain mode. Well, I've ruined everything. I might as well eat everything in sight and I'll start fresh tomorrow. Sound familiar? That's not being weak. That's your body staging a biological coup because it's tired of being oppressed by an app that thinks it knows better than the millions of years of our evolution. It's like your metabolism is saying, oh, you want to micromanage me? Watch this. And then turns you into the cookie monster at 11 p.m. This isn't sabotage. This is a revolution. Your body is basically the main character in its own rebellion story, and restriction is the villain it's fighting against. We're also told that tracking makes us more mindful about food. Okay, let's be real. When you're scanning barcodes like you work at Target, are you actually present with your meal?
You just scan the barcode.
Are you savoring the first bite, noticing the flavors, and feeling grateful for the nourishment? Or are you doing mental gymnastics trying to figure out if you can afford those 3 extra almonds without blowing your daily budget? It's like going to a concert and spending the whole time calculating how much you spent on tickets instead of actually enjoying the music. You're physically there, but mentally you're in spreadsheet land. True mindfulness with food is more like being the food critic in Ratatouille, actually tasting, experiencing, and connecting with what you're eating. It's noticing that avocado toast hits different when you're actually hungry versus when you're eating it because Instagram told you to. But you can't develop this skill while you're outsourcing all your food decisions to an app that has the emotional intelligence of a calculator. One of the most gaslighting myths is that food tracking is scientific and evidence based. Meanwhile, your body is science. You're literally walking around in a biological iPhone that makes actual iPhones look like a flip phone from 2003. Your body is running more background apps than your computer, regulating your temperature, fighting your infection, healing cuts, and yes, managing hunger and your metabolism. It's been doing this successfully since you were born, without any input from you or any apps. The idea that it suddenly needs supervision from MyFitnessPal is like suggesting that Serena Williams needs a tennis app to tell her how to serve. The disrespect. Your hunger signals are more personalized than your Spotify algorithm. Your fullness cues are more accurate than your GPS. Your cravings contain more information than a medical textbook. But we've been trained to ignore all this incredible data in favor of generic numbers that treat every human body like we're all the same Honda Civic when really we're all different models with different needs. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I don't have clear appetite signals. I can't really tell when I'm hungry or full. And to that, I say, no wonder. You've been ignoring your body's text for so long, it stopped trying to reach you. It's like when you don't respond to your friends' messages for months, and then eventually they just stop texting you. Your hunger cues didn't disappear, they just got tired of being left unread. This is what happens when you spend years telling your body, thanks for the input, but this app knows better. Your internal GPS gets rusty when you only use Google Maps. The solution isn't more tracking, it's actually less tracking. It's like learning to trust your own judgment again after being in a controlling relationship. At first, making decisions feels scary because you're out of practice. But slowly you remember that you actually do know what it's like, what you need, and what feels good. Your appetite signals are still there, probably sending you more notifications than your phone. You just need to start paying attention again. Look, I'm not trying to shame anyone who's tracking their food. We've all been sold the story that we need external validation to eat a sandwich without committing a war crime against our health goals. Diet culture has been gaslighting us longer than a toxic ex who swears they've changed. But what if the solution isn't more control? What if it's channeling your inner Elsa and letting it go? Let it go! What if instead of fighting your body like you're in some weird internal civil war, you learn to trust it like the biological genius it actually is? What if instead of following someone else's rules about what and how much you should eat, rules that were probably created by someone who's never even met you, you became the expert on what your own hunger and satisfaction looks like? Your body has been sliding into your DMs this whole time, trying to tell you what it needs. But we've been too busy checking our tracking apps to read the messages. The most rebellious thing you can do in a world obsessed with control is to stop tracking and start trusting. Yes, I know it feels scary, scarier than watching a horror movie alone. But on the other side of that fear is food freedom, the ability to eat without turning every meal into a math test. You are not a broken robot that needs debugging. You're not a car that needs constant monitoring. You're a human being with an internal wisdom system that's more sophisticated than anything Silicon Valley has ever created. If this hits you right in the feels, drop a comment and tell me, what would it look like to trust your body instead of whatever app you're using? Have you experienced this tracking trap? I know I have. And what's the weirdest thing you've ever tried to calculate calories for? If you're ready to break up with diet culture and start a love story with food freedom, smash that subscribe button like you're smashing the patriarchy. And hit the bell because we're serving up more content that'll help you realize you're not the problem, the system is. Remember, you're not a machine that needs programming. You're a main character who deserves to eat with joy, not judgment. Now go forth and trust your body like the biological boss that it is. I'll see you in the next video.